Paul, do you know what I was not doing last night at 7:45 p.m.?
No.
Playing Xbox.
Oh, yes, I should. Oh,
Hmm.
I should have predicted that.
Yeah.
I also was not playing the Xbox. For me, it was a slightly different reason.
Yeah, mine was because the whole service was, well, I should say parts of the service, and conveniently that part was impacting me, was not working.
Did the Chicken Little X Cloud is never going to work people come out of the woodwork when this happened?
Maybe. I did write one of the most passive aggressive posts that I've written in a
Hmm.
while. That I started out with saying, instead of playing Apex Legends right now, I'm writing this post to let you know that Xbox Live is not working. It, yeah, it basically impacted any digital purchase. So if you had the physical disc, you could actually play a lot of games. But yeah,
Right.
but
Well, there's nothing like an offline round of the first Gears of War game, you know.
yeah, a rousing trip around the Nurburgring in Forza One. Um,
Right, right.
just just because, yeah. Basically, what would happen is if you clicked the little thing, it would say something went wrong because Microsoft can't find any other verbiage. Yeah, and then give you a little error code. You know, it'd be really nice too.
Hmm.
Just really nice. As if like maybe in the top right corner of the dashboard of the Xbox there'd be like a red, yellow,
Yeah,
green
like an
button.
uptime
Just
green bar of health kind of thing.
yeah, because I sat there and just tried to restart it, and then I'm like, okay, maybe it's the box. So I rebooted the box.
Yeah.
Nothing. Checked my internet connection. Nothing. It's like, oh, it's nothing on my end.
You know, this is
So,
related to a problem I see in Call of Duty a lot, which is you could argue it's Call of Duty's fault, but I think
mhm.
it's actually an Xbox platform issue, which is you have the game running.
Yep.
They have deployed an update. It doesn't tell you anything about it. You're just in the game, and you're trying to connect to matches, and for some reason they're not working.
Yeah.
And then you go through this thing, like depending on how you handle it, you could kind of fritz around with the UI, and then it'll say
hmm
something like this game session is no longer available, and then you get out of it,
hmm
and then you try to get back in, and then you can't get back in, and finally, like you kill the game, and when you kill the game, an update installs, and it's like, guys, and
hmm
like the reason you couldn't find any games is because everyone had kind of moved on to the new version or whatever.
hmm
It's just, I don't know, it just seems like bad programming to me
Or just
because
like,
you never, oh,
whoa.
sorry, like you said, you never
Hmm.
know what it is.
Yep.
You know,
It's just a little
yeah,
hodgepodge of stuff.
yep, yep,
Stuff.
yep.
It's just stuff. We got which I did not know this was so late in the day. The Samsung Unpacked event is today, but 4 p.m. Eastern time, which is really,
Yeah,
really late.
that's. I'm not going to be watching that one. So, thankfully, Mehdi is going to cover this,
Yeah.
from his Twitter account.
Mm.
Um, which has,
Oh man, too soon. Too soon.
has has pulled what we called a Richard Hay.
Yeah, somehow Mahedi's Twitter account got suspended, and he's quite
Yeah,
disturbed over this. I wonder if it's,
yeah,
it's. I doubt it's because he makes TweetDeck and Twitter's just mad at him. But
yeah.
the
Sure,
mysteries of life that are Twitter. So hopefully he'll get that unlocked soon. That would be
sure.
nice.
I always think to myself, like, if I don't get banned from Twitter, how does anyone get banned? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. You lead by example.
Yes. Yeah, I do something by example.
Yeah. So not a whole lot is going on today. It's
Yep.
there's some
Yep.
kerfluffle over about stuff that Apple is doing with their apps that's going to impact WhatsApp and Facebook about related to calling and
Yeah.
limiting some of the APIs and they're going to have access to, which
I initially started writing that story, by the
Mhm,
way, as is Apple abusing their market power here,
mhm,
right? In other words, and I did slip in a little bit about that at the end, I think, but the basic gist is like Apple has a messaging service called
yep,
iMessage that does not rely on voice over IP. Well, actually, I guess technically it probably does,
yeah,
but it's not well, it is partially an internet-based service, but
mhm,
it's not a fully internet-based service like say Skype or WhatsApp or Snapchat or
mhm,
whatever else, um, Facebook Messenger and so forth. So, you could make the argument they're making it hard on third parties that have popular services
mhm,
and they will never be impacted by this because of course they won't.
right,
But I guess, the more you look into it, these scumbags were using like the voice over IP APIs to detect like the location of your phone and what you were
Mhm.
doing on your phone. And I guess, on that note, like you could make the argument putting a stop to that probably does make some sense. I just sort of think like maybe they could have kept the voice over IP part and prevented the data collection,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Anyway,
It is.
we'll see what comes of this. I don't know. Android Q is going to get a lot more aggressive about background processing as well. If anyone's on that beta, you've seen it in
Mhm.
iOS 13. All of a
Yep.
sudden, it says, "Hey, by the way, this thing's been running in the background. You can,
Yeah.
totally screw with it now." I think app developers are going to have to just adapt to this stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. It'll be. I don't know. We'll see. It's also with iOS 13.
Yeah.
Incredible how many apps need access to Bluetooth for reasons I don't understand. And yeah.
Yes. Yep. I just got the Facebook one today on that. It's
Hmm.
like app or battery intensive app. For some reason, Facebook is looking for Bluetooth devices.
Yep. Yep. Trying
Okay.
to figure out where you are.
Yeah.
The other thing too that has come out that I am somewhat sort of mildly interested in is
Hmm.
the Disney Plus, Hulu, and
Yeah.
ESPN bundle. Um, if they Disney really needs to just go buy Spotify, and then they would get all my money because they would have everything I need.
Yeah. Right. Actually, that's certainly possible.
I mean, if you think about it, like Disney Plus, which is
Hmm.
we would probably I think that's the $5.99 one.
Yeah.
We already get Hulu because we pay for Spotify,
Right.
and I don't pay for ESPN, but if it was included in the bundle, I wouldn't say no. So
So it's ESPN Plus, and
yeah,
maybe I didn't really look into this too far, but the description I saw was that this is like stuff that's not on ESPN.
right.
I mean,
So that's the
obviously, what you
bottom.
really look at, you're looking for ESPN, the online service, like
Hmm.
the live streaming of ESPN content. Like that would actually be really interesting. The other downside is the version of Hulu that's in the bundle is the ad-supported version,
Yep.
which is, I'm sure the most popular version, but it's not the one I get, and it's not the one I would want. Hopefully, or maybe they will have a version of this bundle that has a higher end version of Hulu. Obviously, it would cost more, but whatever. I mean, the more I look at this Disney thing, though, regardless of the bundle,
Hmm.
there is no doubt that on day one I will subscribe to this. Like this
Yeah.
is, it's just a no brainer.
Yep. I think we will too.
Yeah.
Especially since we're not paying for Hulu right now because of the Spotify thing.
Right.
So
Right. Right. I mean, and who knows? I mean, like I can't say that of Apple TV. I know there are a
yeah,
lot of Apple
yeah,
people are just excited to throw money at Apple, but realistically speaking, no, but there are. I mean, but nobody really knows what that thing's going to be.
right.
Disney has been very clear, like what their service is going to
Hmm.
be, and it's actually fairly incredible.
Well, yeah, it's because they've got a substantial catalog, right? They
Oh my God,
have.
yeah,
It's much easier to build out a content streaming service than it is to build out a content catalog, right? They've
yeah,
got
and they already have the
decades.
catalog. Yeah, exactly. They can go in like guns blazing. It's kind
Hmm.
of amazing. They're going to have a Star Wars TV series that looks like it could be incredible.
Yep.
Obviously, all the Star Wars movies, all the Marvel movies, all the Pixar movies, all the Disney
Hmm.
movies. I don't remember the exact number of movies just movies they're going to have, but some incredible collection of movies at launch, and then more over time. Um, some huge number of TV shows as well, including past TV shows. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be pretty big because they own ABC too, so I'm sure all that content's part of it. Not that I could name a single ABC TV show if I
Hmm.
had to, but
I bet you can name America's Funniest Home Videos. Is that
there you
even
go.
still on anymore? I have no
Oh,
idea.
I'm sure it is, and it's the same exact host.
Hmm.
Been there the whole time,
Just scraping videos off of Twitter at this point.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, we'll see. It kind of reminds me of the Stadia and X Cloud, right? Stadia has the technology, but they don't have the
hmm
back catalog.
that's
Microsoft has the back catalog, and we're hoping they have the
yeah,
technology.
right.
Although yesterday was not a great demonstration of it.
Well, I mean, we look. Anything could happen in either market, but
Hmm.
it really helps when you have content going in. And Apple, like I said, and to your example, Stadia, they're just unknowns. We don't
Yep.
know. Maybe they'll be good, but
Maybe they'll be great.
really, yeah, you can't say that right now. You can't.
Yep. So that's about all that's really going on in the world. Did you dig anything out of the?
Yes, I did.
Oh, what'd you
So
get this time?
this one required some actual spelunking.
Splunking.
Yeah, Stephen had told me that down in his cellar,
Hmm.
he had some of the earliest Microsoft mice,
Oh,
And so
yeah.
for the first, like, here, it's like the last day we're here, and I finally
Hmm.
went to his cellar, And I was down there and I'm thinking, there's no absolutely no one going to find this thing. But sure enough, in a bucket or a bin or whatever, he had a bunch of mice.
Mhm.
And I brought down 3 of them because these are actually kind of incredible. So if you're familiar with old Macintoshes and old computers, I guess, of any kind, you know that
Mhm.
they discolor over time,
Yep.
right? And so originally they were kind of a light beige, almost white color, and then they become like brown and yellow over time. And so that's happened to 2 of these. But this is the second generation Microsoft mouse.
Oh wow.
They used to call this the Dove Bar mouse because it looks like a Dove bar of soap.
Ah.
It has a roller wheel on the
Mhm.
bottom,
Mhm.
and no scroll wheel. Of course, it's old. But most impressively, maybe it
Oh
has. This is
wow.
the connector, right? It's the serial connector. All right, I think that's the serial
Yeah, I
connector.
think
It
it's.
almost looks like a joystick controller, but it must be. I'm sure it's serial. And you can't see it again because I have retarded.
Mhm.
But this thing, depending on your computer, it would plug right in. The port would be there in the back. I bet in some cases you actually had to use an add-on card.
Mhm.
But this is, yeah, it actually literally says serial mouse in the back, so that ends that mystery. Um, the 3rd generation mouse, same kind of discoloration and same serial port, but now it has this ergonomic shape to it, assuming, of course, that you're a right-hander. And they stuck with this design actually for quite a while, but it still has the
Yep.
wheel in the back, two buttons, et cetera, et cetera. And then the 3rd one, and this one is actually not discolored, which is kind of interesting, is let me see what they call it, if I can even read it. Oh, what they got it. Yeah, it actually says IntelliMouse. Huh. So I'm going to call this. This is almost certainly a 3rd generation Microsoft
Yep.
mouse because it's super close to this guy in
Mhm.
design. Like you can see how they're like literally the same design, but of course the new one has the scroll wheel.
Yep.
Still has a wheel, like a ball
Yep.
or whatever in the bottom. But now the connector has changed to PS2.
Ah,
So
yes.
this port debuted with the IBM PS2s, right?
Mhm.
Probably 1988, I want to say, but they probably went mainstream in PCs in the early 90s. So I bet this is from, Windows 3.0 timeframe, like early 90s. But yeah, and it's green. It's I seem to recall the keyboard had the same port, but it was purple, maybe.
Yes, yes, yes. That sounds about right. And those ports stuck around for a really long time. Actually,
Yeah,
they still sell motherboards, I think, with them because some people like that analog connectivity
yeah,
as opposed to the digital of the USB.
yeah. I could see that. Anyway, it's pretty cool. So
Neat.
yeah, I think that first one I showed you, that one you could get in a box with Windows, and I think you could get it in a box with Microsoft Word for DOS. Although maybe that was the first version, but it almost certainly came with like a card too.
Mhm.
I bet this thing had like a, and he probably has it in his cellar.
Yeah,
I don't really like rummaging through people's stuff, but
sure.
um, I don't normally do this. He told me about it, and he said I could go get it. But anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, that's a good old flashback at looking at Microsoft hardware.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Unexpected benefit of the home swap.
Yeah, you should do this every year. You're setting the bar pretty high.
I know. Last year at the house in Stockholm, we had a first generation Apple TV. I think that
Mhm.
was the extent of the technology.
I think I just got rid of some of those. It's during the great purge of 2019. So
Yeah, nice.
when do you leave tomorrow?
Tomorrow, so I'm going to be gone all day tomorrow.
Okay. So
We
no
leave
podcast.
early in the morning. Yeah, there's no way.
Yep.
Well, I'm. Yeah,
Nope,
there's
don't don't
there's no
stress
way.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, we wish you safe travels home. Hopefully you don't
Thank
get.
you.
Do you have a direct flight?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
the
nice.
JFK, which is not so nice, but
At least it's one flight, though. I mean, that would be.
yeah. And if everything goes well, like actually we'll get back early in the afternoon, and then that, as far as like driving from JFK,
Mhm.
that might be an ideal time,
Yeah.
for traffic and stuff. So, ideal in the context of JFK.
Mhm.
I don't want to, you know,
Jinx it.
jinx it. I'm not
Maybe
superstitious per se, but
7 overturned semis on the way home.
yeah, exactly.
So, all right. Well, safe travels home, and to everybody else, we will not be back tomorrow, but we should be back, I believe, on Friday. So have yourselves a wonderful day, and we'll catch you later this week.